Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a 3 looks 1 palette using the new Natasha Denona YUCCA palette. So this palette is pretty unique in the color story, and I wanted to do a video that kind of shows you the versatility with these type of palettes. So I did a more neutral look, a more like medium dramatic look, and then obviously this one that's a little bit more graphic and creative. But if you want to see all 3 looks, then just keep on watching. Here is the outside packaging. I absolutely love the color scheme of the packaging. It is so pretty. And here is the inside of the palette. It is absolutely stunning. I think out of all the Natasha Denona palettes that I own and the ones that I have seen, this is definitely the prettiest color story, and it has like the most unique shades in it. So I'm really excited to play with it. For all 3 of these looks, I am going to be priming with a concealer. This is the Lancôme Idole Ultra Wear Concealer, and I'm just going in and applying a light layer all over the lid. The reason I'm using a concealer instead of a normal primer is I just want the lid to be very even in tone, just with the tones that are in this palette, and this is a concealer that wears really well under makeup. Alright, first I'm going to go in with a shade right here, and I'm going in with a Sigma E35 brush, and I'm first going to press that into the crease, and then I'm going to start doing back and forth motions to blend that out. I'm going to start out with the least green look. This is going to be something a little bit more wearable. You can see her eyeshadows blend like butter. It is honestly one of the best formulations I have ever experienced. And now that we kind of have that base layer, I'm going to go in and do that one more time, and I'm just going to layer that up until it's as pigmented and as blended as I would like. I personally like to start in with less product and work my way up instead of going in with a ton of product in the beginning. I just find that you get the best blend that way. Next, I'm going to take the shade Valley. And now with a Sigma E25 brush, I'm going to pack that on the outer corner of the eye, and then I'm going to start blending it inwards and up into that crease area. This color is a little bit more neutral brown, less of a orangey brown. And I just got a little bit more. I'm going to do that same thing. I'm putting my brush here first because that's where I want the most pigment, and then I'm bringing it inwards. And then I'm going to use the tip of that brush to start to blend that up into the crease. I'm going to bring it in a little bit as well. So now that I have that color placed where I want it, I'm going to go in with that Sigma E35 brush in that first color again. I'm going to use that to diffuse that more neutral brown. I want to keep the crease color really warm, so I want to make sure that that one color is not being brought up really high. I just repeated that process one more time, so I layered up the color, blended it out, and here's what we're working with. Now I'm going to take the shade Flax, which is the darkest matte brown, and with a Sigma E42 brush, which is much smaller, I'm going to put this on that very outer corner. Again, pressing my brush where I want it to be the darkest and then working my way inwards. This brush is really nice, small, and precise, so it's going to allow me to really get in that outer corner. I'm going to keep this mostly on the lid. You can see I'm kind of diffusing those edges, but I'm not fully bringing it up into the crease. But I want it high enough to when I look forward, you can still see that color. And I'm dipping into a little bit more of that Valley, which was that last color, to diffuse those edges. I don't want to butcher some of these names, so I'm just going to point to some of them. I'm going to take this shade right here. I'm going to try to apply this with a brush, but a lot of her shadows go really well with the finger. Oh, that looks nice. That's a really pretty shimmer. It's like the more cool toned shimmer in the palette. Oh my gosh, that is a stunning shimmer shade. Wow, in the pan, like it looks like more silver, like something that I wouldn't gravitate towards, but the way that it complements these warm shades is unreal. So I'm gonna first apply it with a brush, and I'm gonna try and use my finger, but I do have nails and it makes it a little bit harder to get in there. Okay, so now I'm going in with my finger kind of right on the center of the lid. You can see it made it just a little bit more metallic right there. And I'm just going to pat that out with my brush. This is a Sigma E57. I'm not sure if I said that or not. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of that darkest shade, and I'm going to run that a little bit on my lash line with a Sigma LO4. This is a lip brush, but it's just a really small little pencil brush. I just want a little bit more definition of that lash line. So I'm just kind of applying that and then connecting it to the outer corner. I'm going to apply my under eye concealer, and then we'll come back into the lower lash line. I'm going to show you what this look looks like with just mascara, because I feel like it'll be a really pretty look, and then we might pop on some lashes depending on what that looks like. And I did not set my under eye concealer because I really want to make sure that these shadows adhere to the under eye. And now with the shade Valley and a Sigma E20 brush, I'm going to run that along the lower lash line. This was that more neutral brown shade. I'm going to take that all the way to that inner corner. And as always, I like to make sure it connects out here on this outer corner. That way it's more cohesive and there's not a gap right there. And now with a Sigma E15 brush and that same darkest shade, I'm going to put it on the outer corner of the lower lash line. I'm going to keep this up closer to the lashes. And again, really making sure it connects right here. So I'm just taking that halfway in. And with that Sigma E42 brush, I'm just going to diffuse those edges, make sure everything is nice and blended and not too harsh. I'm dipping in with a little bit more Valley in that same E42 brush, and I'm just going along everything and shaping it how I like. For mascara, I'm going to go in with my Fenty Beauty. This is the Hella Thick mascara. Okay, here's how it looks with just mascara. I think it is really pretty. I don't have the best lashes, but I definitely would go out with just mascara in this look. I'm going to pop on some more natural toned lashes, and then we'll do bottom lash mascara, and then I will show you look number 1 completed. So I just popped on some lashes, and here is look number 1 completed. First, we're going to go in with the shade Citrine, and I'm going in with a Sigma E35 brush, and I'm going to do that same thing we did in the first look. I'm going to press that into the crease and then start to do back and forth motions. This one is definitely more of like a mustard brown than that first color we used in the last look. And I'm just going to keep building this up. I don't actually have a plan or a vision for this look, so we're just going to wing it. I'm going to open my eye and kind of follow the shape of the arch of my brow. So once most of the product's off my brush, that's when I'm really fading it up towards the brow. And next we're going to take this shade right here and see how it looks. I'm going in with a Sigma E33 brush. Okay, it is darker. I was worried it wouldn't show up much darker. And I'm just putting this directly into the crease. I think I'm going to do like a really dark smoky eye with this one, with maybe like a glitter in the center. I'm not sure. I'm just going in with a little bit more just to further build that up. This color builds nicely. It just keeps getting darker, which I love when shades do that. And I'm just putting this like directly in the socket of my eye. So again, just looking forward, and I'm just making sure that I can see that when I'm looking forward. And then once most of the product's off my brush, I'm just blending it upwards. And with that Sigma E35 brush and no additional product, I'm just going to further blend out those edges. Next, I'm going to take this shade right here. So it's like a very dark green, but it's definitely a more muted green. And I'm just going to apply this all over the lid with a Sigma E35 brush. Okay, it's definitely not as dark as I thought it would be. I don't know why I thought it would be like this super deep green, but I think it'll still work. I'm just going to keep packing that on the lid so it's nice and opaque. And I'm just really going to be stopping that right directly into my crease. Now with that Sigma E33 brush, I'm going to take that shade and I'm going to blend that up into the crease. That way it blends with the other color we put in our crease. Next, I'm going to take the shade Flax, and I'm going to try and make this a little bit darker, but I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to take a Sigma E42 brush. Oh yeah, I think that might work. I'm just going to put this on, I think, the outer corner. I'm actually going to do this and then probably put the green back on top because I don't want to lose that green pigmentation, but I do want that depth. I'm actually going to put it on the inner corner as well. And now I'm going right back on top with that green. And now with that first Citrine shade, I'm just going to re-intensify the crease color. This is a Sigma E25 brush. Okay, I can't decide for shimmer, but I think I'm going to take this shade right here. I feel like this will be better with my finger, but I'm going to try it with a brush. I'm going to put that right in the center of the lid. The base really makes a difference because on my hand this was very golden, and over top of this shade it's very green, which is kind of more of what I wanted, so that works out. And then same thing I did with the first look, I'm going to actually apply that with my finger for the most pigmentation. Oh wow, that is stunning. And then diffuse it with that brush. If Natasha can do one thing, it is shimmers. Next, I'm going to take the shade Overdrive from Urban Decay. I'm going to put this in my waterline. And I also did apply my under eye concealer. And now for the lower lash line, I'm going to take that E25 brush in Citrine. And just like we did in the last look, I'm going to buff that out and make sure it connects on this outer corner. My lower lash line routine usually doesn't change too much, depending on the look that I'm doing. And now I'm going to go in with that second shade that we used, and I'm buffing that on the lower lash line with a Sigma E20 brush. And with that same E20 brush in that dark green shade, I'm going to take that and just apply that on top. I'm going to take that all the way to the inner corner and make sure to connect out here. And with that LO4 brush in the shade Flax, I'm putting that on that very outer corner and connecting. I'm not worrying about blending it, I'm just worrying about placing it. I'm also going to put it right here on the inner corner, just like we did on the lid. And now with that E42 brush, I'm just going to diffuse everything out. And then I like to do my final blending, so I'm going to go in with that E25 with no more product and just make sure everything is nice and blended. And now with that Plantasia shade, which is the shade we use on the center of the lid, I'm going in with a Morphe JH42. And I did spray this with MAC Fix Plus. I'm going to put that right in the center. I'm just doing patting motions. Oh, try not to do that. Next I'm going to go in with my NYX Jumbo Pencil in the shade Milk. So I'm just applying this along that inner corner. I just decided I wanted to do this. I'm going to layer this up a couple times, but I want it to perfectly wrap the inner corner. Kind of like that, but I'm going to layer it up like 3 times. And I'm making sure it comes to a point right here, and I'm using a Sigma E06 brush for this. And now we're going to take this shade right here, and now with a Sigma L06 brush, so this is another lip brush, I'm just going to pack that shade right on top of that Jumbo Pencil. Again, I'm going to really layer this up to make sure it pops. Okay, that is fine. So I'm going to apply some mascara and lashes, and I will show you look number 2 completed. And here's look number 2. I went in with my House of Lashes Allura Light Lashes, and I feel like it just complements the look really well. It doesn't take away much of the focus of the shimmer, but I really, really like this one. This is probably a look that I'm going to be doing often, but that is look number 2. Okay, now we're going in with look number 3. So I kind of have a vision for this one, but hopefully it turns out. I'm gonna start out with the shade Willow, and I also already did my concealer because we are going to kind of do everything at once because it's going to be super blown out. So with that Sigma E42 brush, I'm going to pack this on the outer corner. So here I'm just kind of forming the initial shape. I'm going ahead and dipping into that E20 brush, and I'm running that shade on the lower lash line to make sure I get the right shape. I'm wanting a really winged out look, and I want it to be pretty heavy on the lower lash line as well. Okay, now I'm going back in with that E42 to kind of create a like triangle shape. And you can see that I'm just kind of patting right now. And then I'm going to take it up to the outer corner just a little bit. You can see I'm just gradually bringing this outwards, and I'm looking forward to see where it sits when my eyes are open. Now that I have the rough shape, I'm going to take that Sigma E33 brush, and no additional product right now. I'm going to blend this into a very winged out look. So I'm kind of taking that lower lash line, smoking that out quite a bit, and just really extending this up and really far out. I'm kind of extending that outer corner just to prevent any like loose skin. And just further flicking that out. So you can see I'm kind of going down here to pick up some of that product we placed, and then I'm flicking it outwards. And I'm going to bring it in slightly. And I'm just going to keep going back and forth with packing more of this color on and then blending it back out. Okay, so now that I reapplied that color, I'm just going to continue blending. Still, I'm using no product on this brush right here. So I'm going back and forth between doing back and forth motions and like one motion. So I'm lifting my brush each time like that. Really want to make sure that this is very smoky. I'm just going in right here. Just with my eye shape, I feel like I need a little bit more right there because it kind of dips, and then buffing that out. But I'm just going to keep doing this back and forth until I get it as pigmented and as blended as I would like. Okay, now that we're kind of to this point, I'm going to do something I did in my last video where I kind of add some shadow right here, but it's not technically a cut crease. So I'm going to take this same shade and that Sigma E42 brush. I'm going to go right in this little socket and apply that color. I'm just going to keep building that up. but I'm leaving a gap right here because I don't want to connect this. And now I'm going to take that shade Citrine again, and with that E35 brush, I'm going to blend this out into the eyebrow. Oh yeah, I think I like that. And I'm just going to go back and forth between the two colors of applying the dark green and then applying the mustard. I'm going to blend that up into the brow. I'm going to take this shade right here. I'm going to apply that to the center of the lid with a E57 brush. I'm actually going to bring it in a little bit further too. I'm going to take this up past my natural like crease just a little bit. And then with my finger, I'm going to intensify that. I'm going to take this shade right here. Hopefully this doesn't ruin it, but I'm going to put this right where that shimmer and the green meet. Just to add a little bit of warmth in there. Was I blurry? So I'm just doing patting motions first. It's just kind of taking that warmth from here and bringing it to the lid. And I'm just doing pressing motions. I'm just very lightly diffusing those edges. Okay, now with a Sigma E27 in that same shade, I'm going to run it on the lower lash line right in the center to again bring a little bit of that warmth on the bottom. And then with that same shimmer shade in that E20, I'm going to apply it on the lower lash line, kind of overlapping that warm color. Next, I'm going to take this shade right here. And now with that E57 brush that I cleared off, I'm going to very heavily pack on that color. On the inner corner, I'm going to wrap it around, but you'll notice it's definitely more blown out than the last look. So I'm patting it up into this green, but we're going to go back in to re-intensify that dark green. Just patting that all the way around. And now with a little bit more of Willow, I'm just going to re-intensify that darkness right there. This look will honestly be so much better once we put lashes on. I'm just kind of re-intensifying all of Willow. Now I'm going to apply the KVD Tattoo Pencil Liner in the shade Veridian Green. It's just a little bit darker than the last green we used. And now I'm going to pop off camera and apply some lashes, and then I'll come back and show you the entire look completed. Okay, lashes are still drying, and honestly that took it to like a whole new level. I knew that the lashes would kind of tie this whole look together, but I forgot to show you how to clean up these type of looks. So if you get a little heavy-handed or it doesn't maintain the shape that you were kind of looking for, you don't want to clean it up with concealer or anything because it's going to give you a very sharp line, and we don't want that. We want it to be nice and blended. You're going to take your face powder. You want to do something that has color and a little bit of coverage. This is my Kosas one, and I'm just applying that to a flat brush. This is a Sigma E60 brush, and I'm just going to take this and apply it along the edges. I'm starting a little bit away from the eyeshadow and then working my way upwards. So I'm going to sharpen this up a little bit. But it'll just clean up your look without making it too harsh and too sharp. Now that my lashes are dry, that is the third and final look completed. I hope you guys liked all three of these looks. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite look and what type of video you wanted to see me do next, and I will see you guys in my next one.